Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we have an eyeshadow palette review with two looks, including the one I'm wearing. If you guys can guess what we are reviewing today, I am going to be talking about the new Natasha Denona mini Xenon, I believe it's called, palette. It's Xenon, so it kind of reminds me of Xenon, the movie on Disney, but I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. So this is a new kind of cool, very cool tone, almost blue toned smoky eye palette. There is 4 mattes and 1 shimmer in this mini palette. It is the same price as her other ones, so $25 for this guy. Now, I definitely wanted to pick this up because you guys know I love cool tones and I love Natasha Denona palettes. I buy a lot of her palettes, especially the mini ones, because they are more affordable and she has a really good quality and a really good formula that I just really enjoy. My Natasha Denona palettes are some of my most reached for in my collection, and I also am obsessed with her Glam palette because I thought this might be kind of similar, but I realized they're a little bit more different than I thought, but I will talk about that towards the end of the video. So this is the mini Xenon palette. This is what it looks like. So again, 4 mattes and 1 shimmer in the middle. I'll go ahead and insert the swatches for you guys of this one, but super cool tone, very smoky, leaning on the blue side. This little palette is available on Sephora, Beautylish, and Natasha's website. I did her pre-order, so it shipped out a little bit earlier, so that's how I got it so fast. But this is described as 5 essential shades to create Natasha Denona's signature smoky cat eye. Now, I don't usually do cat eye looks. It always takes me so long, and I'm not great at it. So I just did a couple different smoky eye options today. It includes creamy mattes in a highly foiled metallic, perfect for bold and defined looks with a pop of dramatic glam. This is also the first and only mini palette to include the supremely rich and velvety Blackest black eyeshadow, which we'll talk about that later too. But that is a little intro into this palette. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the 2 looks I did, and then I'll share with you my thoughts on this one. Alright, so into the palette, I am going to be doing 2 looks today to kind of test all the shades out and see what we can come up with. For the first look, I want to do something all matte, so we'll see how this goes. First thing I'm going to do is start out with this light gray shade in the palette. This is called Mist, so we're going to put this in the crease. This is a pretty light shade, so it doesn't show up a lot. We'll see if it builds up. I am going to build that up a little bit with this darker gray. This one is called Gloom. Next, I'm going to go in with the black in the palette. This one is called Blackest Black Matte, and I'm taking this sort of flat brush and I'm going to place this on the lid, and I'm trying to do like a black, really smoky look. So I'm just going to place this down like so. We can be totally messy with this because we'll blend it out. And I'm taking a smaller brush to get in the inner portion so that I don't make a huge mess. So you can kind of leave it like that for the lids, which I'm going to do for today's look, but if you want, you could throw some glitter on there as like your base and whatnot, but I'm going to use the shimmer for the other look. I just want to see how these mattes look together and see what I can do. This is like a super grungy, smoky look. Next, I'm going in with the dark gray again on a little pointed brush, and this is going to go in my lower lash line. Trust the process here, guys. I swear this is gonna look better once we have the rest of our makeup on. I just feel like it looks a little bit weird when I just have the eyes done because it's very smoky, grungy. It's gonna look a little bit messy at first. I didn't buy any of the liners in the collection, so I'm just gonna go in with my own black liner here. So that's kind of the base for what we're doing. Let me add the rest of my makeup and we'll see how it all comes together. So this is the finished look. I told you guys, trust the process, because once we add the concealer, that kind of gets rid of all the smudginess, we can clean it up a bit more. I did like a lighter pink blush and a somewhat pinky nude, trying to keep it neutral on the lips, but that is how the eyeshadow came out. I've never really done like a all super matte black dark shadow look like this before. I usually always do like a shimmer, so this is definitely different for me, but I wanted to try something new. Now I do feel like this kind of a look definitely closes my eyes a bit more and makes them look smaller, but I like how it looks with my eye color. I don't know if this is something I would do very much, but I do feel like it doesn't look as messy as some of my other black shades do. I feel like I usually get a lot of fallout, but I also feel like I don't have an even pigmentation over my lid, and I did build this color up a few times, so it's not like super intense black, even though the color name is Blackest Black. I don't know if it truly is the Blackest Black, because it does look more of a dark, very blue toned gray to me on my eyes, and I just feel like there's not a ton of dimension with the shades, but overall I do like the look, something a little bit different, more grungy, smoky for me. Let's go on to look number 2. Alright guys, now for look 2, I did take my makeup off because I'm going to redo everything, because of this look I'm going to be wearing all night because I have an event to go to tonight. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to try out the shimmer this time. So first thing I'm going to do is go into that same light gray. I'm using a smaller brush just to see if that makes a difference in pigmentation, see if we can get a little bit more pigmented, but I guess it is just a very light gray color. I just don't know what I'm going to use this for besides the crease, just to kind of build up on. So inserting that into the crease, still so light. I feel like maybe this would show up a little bit better if you guys have like a medium or deeper skin tone, so then it would pop a little bit more, but for me it just kind of blends into the skin. So again, we're going in with the kind of mid-tone gray. Same thing, going right into the crease with this one. Alright, next we are going to go in with that black again. This one's going to go in the outer corner. And we'll see how this one kind of blends out, since last time we like packed it on, and now I'm going to be blending it. I'm going to take that medium gray on the lower lash line again. Alright, and then I'm going to go in with the shimmer. Finally, I'm going to use my finger with this one, because usually I do with Natasha's shimmers, and you definitely don't have to. They do work with a brush as well. This is just how I get the most payoff. So we're going to go ahead and apply this. Now this color does not disappoint. This is like liquid melted silver. Definitely the showstopper of this palette for sure. And then we'll take our outer corner brush and just blend all of this together. So this is how the finished eyes came out. I definitely think this looks very clean. There wasn't hardly any fallout. It wasn't messy whatsoever, so I don't really have to do a ton of cleaning up under the eyes or anything, which is surprising with black, but I did definitely have to build up those colors. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of my makeup on and show you guys the finished look, and then we'll talk about my thoughts here on the palette. And here's the finished look with look number 2. Definitely my favorite because I love the shimmer. I kind of did a similar face makeup though, just trying to keep it neutral with the eyes being the focus, but I love the second look. So pretty. So onto my thoughts here on the mini Xenon palette. I have to say I'm really conflicted on how I feel about this one. I will say I think really the only look I'm going to be doing with this palette is going to be this look here, pretty much the same thing over and over. I don't really see myself getting a lot of different variety out of this just based on my makeup preferences. I did try out the mattes, but I'm not always going to be wearing that type of a darker grungy look like that, and like these two shades are so light, there's really not a lot you can do with them unless you're going to be using them on the lid, at least for me. So I kind of found those to be a little bit pointless. I would have liked to see some more variety. Maybe something with a tiny bit more brown in it, even a little bit more than all of these super stark gray shades. So I don't know if I'm going to really get my money's worth out of this one. I absolutely love that foiled silver in here, but you don't want to buy like a palette just for one shade, you know, even though it is stunning. But yeah, I really only see myself doing this look every time with the palette. As far as the black in here goes, I didn't realize that this really is like one of Natasha Denona's only black shades. Like I was looking through my palettes, I was like, at least the ones that I have, I could not find any just like matte blacks. I was really surprised about that. And for that being a main shade in here, I'm kind of disappointed with the pigmentation. I would have expected a little bit more from Natasha. Now I know this is her mini palette, and sometimes the mini palettes aren't as great as her mid-size or full-size palette. It is only $25 compared to like her $65 palette, so I don't know if they just skimped out on the quality there, but I mean, the shadow blended great. It blended awesome. I hardly had any fallout, which is rare with a black, which I kind of talked about earlier, but I just expected a little bit more punch or more pigmentation with it. I still was able to kind of achieve what I wanted, but like when I did the full matte black all over my lid, it did look a little bit patchy or uneven. So I'm kind of in between on that. I would have expected a little bit better being a star of the palette, but really the star for me is definitely this chromatic shade. It's so stunning. So really, I just don't know how much use I personally am gonna get out of this. If this is something that you really like, you're inspired by, you love these smoky tones, I think you will enjoy this one. But for me, I do prefer the tones in the Glam palette. You can tell how starkly different these are. Like they're not similar at all. This is definitely, it looks more brown than this one. This one's definitely more blue toned. I was looking through my collection and I don't have anything really like this except for the Jeffree Star cremated palette. As you guys could see, it's the same kind of color scheme with the blue tones. I could probably replicate the look, but I don't feel like his shimmers are as like foiled metallic as that. His are more glittery, but I can definitely get that look with the mattes. But I do think Jeffree's black is better pigmentation wise. You could just kind of tell compared to Natasha's. Natasha's just looks a lot lighter and more patchy than the Jeffree's does, honestly. I don't really buy a lot of Jeffree anymore, but I will say his formula is really good. I wanted a little bit more pigment and a little more variety in the colors. There's just not a lot that I personally think I'm going to do with this one unless you're going to be practicing more cat eye looks, playing around with eyeliner and stuff like that. So that is my quick thoughts on the Natasha Denona Mini Xenon palette. If you want a smoky palette, I would go for the Glam palette over this. This is one of my all-time favorite palettes. I know this one is cheaper. This one's $65, this one's $25, but you get more shades in here and more variety, and it's more wearable in my opinion. So that's going to be it for this video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you guys are picking this one up. I do have the link down below on Sephora's website, but I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.